what do you think is, and again, when I was talking about Kadri, I was just talking about could he be dealt? And we've seen deals where, Phaneuf moves and one team keeps a chunk and then another. I just don't think
It's not a hockey deal,
I
right?
don't think it's as crazy to think that he
you could just package him with assets and move him, but the notion of you're eating a part of the salary and you're not going to get anything helpful back. Like, do you want to move your first with him? You could move him that way.
Do you? So what's your
go down that
guess?
far? Sorry, I'm interrupting, Boom. But go down that far. If we're doing a retool, is that an option?
If you're doing a retool, don't give
because
up
you could. If you no, stop. Yes, you can. Because if you give away your first with Kadri, you're going to recoup that first when you get rid of Lindholm or Backlund.
I mean, right? I like more firsts if you're trying to get younger, but sure. Yeah,
well, for sure you do, but not if you're stuck with a guy for, if Kadri's miserable and doesn't want to be here and making a bunch of. Sorry, go ahead, Boom.
Right? No, I was going to say, if you're getting cap relief, you're not getting nothing. You're spending a first to get cap relief.
Yeah, for sure. And
not ideal, no question.
The best case scenario is he can reestablish himself as a number 2 center in the NHL, because he didn't look like that last year. And he still hit
all-star.
24, 25 goals.
He was in the all-star game.
That's what I was going to ask.
By default.
So what do you think is, where's the over-under for you if you were betting on points for Nazem Kadri next season?
Well, what did you do this year? Because the points weren't bad. It was the work ethic and the give a fuck that killed you.
I agree.
It's not like
56
what drove me nuts wasn't the lack of production. It was just like, how could you be that apathetic in a season on the line game against Chicago? That's what drives you nuts.
Like, if he's a 20 to 25,
he scored 24 this year. It wasn't a great year. Like, he scored 30 multiple times in his career. But I just think if you're looking at goals, you've missed why he's disappointment. You say, he must have been great this year. Everyone loved him, right? 24 goals.
No, but again, if this is the worst he's ever looked, I mean, that's
pretty bad.
24 goals?
No, the goals were bad. The give a fuck was bad. The quit, that was what was bad. That's why, it's not crazy to think that if he really has that much of a hate on for the coach, that why couldn't he get over 30?
Well, and that's why I say,
but if you're the other team,
until he establishes that, then you can trade him. Yeah, if he can go back, score 30, and look like a great player, of course you can trade him.
It was a shit year, and he still had 24 goals and whatever. And yes, the body language, but I'm saying he's a centerman, and if you're a team that's close and you're getting a little bit of kickback on the cap hit, you'll worry about the remainder of the contract later.
I mean, I see the point you're making. I just don't think I've ever seen a 33-year-old with 6 years left move.
There have been a lot of bad deals that have moved. Teams have found a way.
I mean,
teams have found a way. I know what you're saying.
If you want to package first and move them, of course you can.
I don't think
if you could sell them in a year as a back to a number 2 center, now you can actually make a hockey trade.
Well, now let me ask you then, because if he gets back to a number 2 center, you don't want to friggin' trade him.
Well, I mean, again,
that's how that's going to go again.
Plan, right?
That's how it's going to go again. It's now he's. Guy's been awesome for us.
Let's say, hypothetical land.
Man, we had no problem with his work ethic. We had no problem with Nazem Kadri, the player, until the All-Star break.
Yeah, which was funny because he said if we play like a team, we'll get in.
And then after the All-Star break, we've talked about it for years. It's too obvious for something not to have taken place.
Well, and it was around that time that we heard, Nazem Kadri is actually a really vocal member of this room in interactions with the coach. And again, I'm not blaming the coach. I'm blaming both of them, because it's clear that whatever happened between those two, it fucking sewered the season. Not the only thing. There's a shitload. The goalie could look like an NHL guy. That'd help for more than just a month and a half. But he was said to be what about that group with Daryl? The guy that would confront him and talk to him. And we went from saying, this guy could be a captain to I've never seen someone quit like this. Does that not reek of an incredibly horrid relationship between coach and player?
Which is fine. I don't think we're debating that, and we debate things for fun, and we don't get paid to make any kind of moves. But my thought is that if you're the other 31 teams in the league and you're watching, and you are close, a top 5 or 10 team, and you can have, like, I never thought he had these kind of numbers. 56 points in 82 games, which maybe isn't even up to his standard, but it's certainly not far off a $5 to $7 million player, right? And if you can look at it and go, this Kadri guy, if we could get him out, if we could steal him out of Calgary, because we believe once he gets out from under Darryl, he's absolutely going to revert back to being a number 2 centerman, and they're going to eat $2 million. Well, let's do this. I guess your point might be, well, it's not really a hockey trade. You're dumping, all you're doing is dumping salary. You're getting nothing in return.
But if, let's say, for whatever reason, let's say Mitch Love coaches this team and Nazem has the joie de vivre back and is like, wow, like, great season, 25 goals, but was an emotional leader and did come up with some good play when you needed it. At that point, it's like, yeah, a half price or 3/4 price Nazem you can take to market. It's just, there's a lot of guys that GMs will look to buy low on. The last one they'll get to is the longest term, right? There's a lot of other sentiment like, oh, he's only got a couple of years left and I'll buy low on that. It's, of course, teams will think he's better than this, but they're just going to, there's less risky deals to make out there. Like, I'll go bet on a bounce back from Adam Henrique, who's only got a couple of years
Would
left
he be
before I
attractive on July 1st? If there's a team in this mix and there's so much pressure in the NHL, is there a team on July 1st, if they could get Nazem Kadri at 6 years, $5 million per?
If you go half price, I think there's a market. I just think the cap's so tight.
I'm just saying,
year,
if and again, who knows if they eat to whatever. But for this, just to push this one step further, and then we will move on. If you're a team that's close and you're a GM that's like, we need to win now, just because it's not what it is. But look at it in those terms. There'd be a six years remaining, and the cap hit instead of 7 is 5. To add that centerman to your team that's close.
I'm trying to think of a team because that's kind of the best way to measure how would it look.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't. You stopped and paused, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you
for sure, and I think that's all the more reason to think if you could get this guy aligned and working again, it's not a problem. But as long as it looks like he doesn't want to work,